Welcome back to State of Decay 2 Heartland. I have dropped into the cowboy boots of Brock. Actually, I don't know if he's wearing cowboy boots. That seems like his style. No, he's just got normal hiking boots on. Okay, whatever. I'm dropping into Brock because we're going to go wrap up this mission that we had. Oh, I do not have very much gas in this car. We're going to wrap up this mission that we have with the Wilkersons. What about this car? How's this car doing? It's got even less gas in it. You can't see the gas, but, okay, looks like I need to get some gas. Actually, there's probably already gas in one of the trunks. I bet there's already gas in a trunk, but whatever. We're gonna get more. We're gonna make more. Let's make some gas. There we go. And we'll just stick it in some trunks. Even if there's already gas there. Now, one thing I'm going to be on the lookout for is the ability to get base-wide power. Now, I guess I could just install a generator here. The reason I'm thinking about power is because I'd like to be able to upgrade one of these vehicles. But in order to upgrade the vehicles, you need to have power. I need a nice medium vehicle upgrade kit to upgrade one of these Rameses. But I don't have power. And also, I guess I need more circuitry, too. So I should, at some point, if I see a substation out there, I should stop at the substation, claim it, get some scraps of circuitry, and maybe get myself some power. Now, folks in the chat have been telling me that actually there are other ways to get power in this game. That some of the characters, Chavez was a suggestion, that Chavez can also give you power, but I don't actually know when Chavez's recruit mission pops up, and so I'm not going to depend on that. So it looks like the Wilkersons, because their home got overrun by a plague heart, are living here. Hello, zombie. And so I figured that, the best person to send to talk to Nat Wilkerson is probably Brock, right? Her favorite person. So we're going to go in here with Brock. Hey there, Nat. How you doing? These plague zombies are squatting on Wilkerson land. Help us clear them out. Oh, okay. So that's what this mission is to clear out the old Wilkerson place. So that she can blow it up later. Okay, so let's go do this mission. But then I've also had my eye on the mission over here with Vic. Because that's one of the ones that I worked on. I've forgotten most of the details of it. But that is one of the ones that I worked on. And so I think it would be fun to sort of re-explore it as a player. Because, when you're working on something, it's really difficult to sort of like separate yourself from it and play it as an actual player would. It's really easy to get to see it with kind of like rose-colored glasses, like to just see the version of it that is in your head, even if you haven't implemented it really so that the player has that experience. You sometimes can have sort of a idealized version of the experience because you play it exactly the way that that you imagined someone should play it. And so getting somebody to play it in a different way and watching them do it and seeing how they can mess up your plans is really, really important. But it's not that often that you can actually, forget your own work to such a degree that you can actually play through it as an ignorant playtester yourself. But I think I might actually get to do that this time because I've totally forgotten so much of what happened in Heartland that I could probably play through my own missions and have a novel experience with them, which is going to be a little bit weird. All right. So coincidentally, Brock has got a bunch of explosives with him. Or not coincidentally because he's Brock. I kind of liked the idea of having him having a bunch of explosives on him. So I didn't even need to sort of re-equip in order to come and fight a plague heart. I think I'm pretty much good to go. The only question is whether I'm good enough at this game to survive being swarmed by plague zombies. So we'll find out. So the Wilkerson Ranch was actually one of the first places that was ever built for State of Decay 1. It was built as sort of a sample part of the level. Oh, gosh. What? All right, let's just bring these guys in here and set them on fire with the Plague Heart. Okay, everybody just sort of gather around. Gather around, everyone. Oh, it's story time with Brock. It's story time with Brock. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, whoop. All right, so we've got some pipe bombs, Brock's favorite thing. There we go. Oh, I don't want to talk to Mickey. I want to pick up plague samples. Pick up plague samples. That's what we're here to do. Yeah, so Brock finally proved himself to his former employers. Now they'll respect him.
That's a lot of crap to haul around.
A bell club. Fancy knife. More people might need a big one of these. Oh, grenades. Yeah, Brock is not leaving without grenades. I think we're going to leave the Plague Heart there. Let them deal with it. It's what they deserve. All right, so let's drop off as much of this stuff as we can. The stuff that's hard to stack. This and that. There we go. All right, so now that we've cleared out the Wilkerson house, let's go all the way across the map.
See if I can track down the sad guy we heard on the radio.
Okay. I love Brock's dialogue. I want to bring Brock everywhere. Oh, wait. Coalición is telling me there is a weapon crate on the river behind the Wilkersons' house. I didn't even know there was a river behind the Wilkersons' house, so that shows you what I know. Oh, wait. Oh, I remember this thing. How do I get down there? Is this the route down? Probably. How about we don't bring the car down there in case it's possible for the car to get stuck? I'm going to get a nice little overexposed shot of Brock. Yeah, that could make a good thumbnail. Anyway. Weapon crate, huh? Down here? Is it in the river? Where should I go, Coalición? Oh, so Coalición has got a poll going. He wants to know whether people think that I should recruit Vic or Vic's husband, whose name I have forgotten. So there you go. Oh, so Peroxica says, if I leave the Plague Heart there, how can we know if Nat really burned the house down because the cops came, or if she did it because there was a Plague Heart in the house? Good point. I'm kind of messing up the lore here a little bit. Okay, Coalición says that he believes the weapon crate is a little further south. So I'm going to poke around this way and just see if there's something I can find.
Shit, I'm beat.
So far, I'm not noticing any weapon crates. Are you sure this thing is present in Heartland and it's not just in Trumbull Valley in the core game? Oh, wait. Oh, I see it. Nope. You're right. You're right, Coalición. I see the little beacon. I'm glad I was looking in the nighttime. Oh, yeah, I never would have found this in the day.
Not bad.
All right, so we got a Mac V. Nice. Okay, so actually, since I'm almost completely out of... Whoops. How do buttons work? I'm almost completely out of ammo for this gun. I should probably switch this. Now, it looks like it has a suppressor on it, but I don't think it's actually... Is it actually suppressed? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not 100% quiet, but it's pretty quiet. Oh, yeah, and it doesn't have a slot for a suppressor. So, yeah, it is probably integrally suppressed. Okay, cool. I was actually... So, one of the reasons why I wanted to get power was because it was going to allow Brock to craft better attachments for the fronts of weapons. And I was like, because what he needs is a nice suppressor. He can make an improvised suppressor right now, but it's just not as good. But now we can actually do a proper suppressor, so that's cool. Oops. I just wanted to switch that gun to single shots. Where is the ramp? Is this it? Probably. Okay, so I've been falling behind on the chat. Let me just quickly catch up. So, La Coalition, I know he said that he had something he wanted to run by me, but I think I missed it if he said it. Hello, friend. Kragan says, is there a process you have to go through when adding things to the game that pay homage to other games or shows, etc., other IPs? To determine if it makes sense in universe and it feels natural or forced? Is it ever a legal question, or are those typically low-key enough not to be an issue? So I think that, in general terms, legally, I think if a particular company is like particularly litigious, you want to avoid just the risk of them thinking you violated their copyright. But as a general rule, I think making references to other things, you know, without actually like if I tried to sort of replicate the entire story in detail of some other where's my car? Oh, I left it up there. Of some other property, then there could be copyright issues there. But if I'm just making a reference to it, like the red balloon from It, you know, that's in Providence Ridge, stuff like that, that's not a copyright issue. I think that's it falls under, I don't know, something like fair use or satire or parody or whatever. Like it's in some zone where it's okay to make references to something. So I don't think we worry that much about the legal ramifications for things that subtle. I think if we tried to go more elaborate, we would be more careful. Like, for instance, there's this book called The Knowledge that we used for I forgot the name of the author, but there's a book called The Knowledge that we used for research as we were figuring out sort of the technology that people would have access to in the post-apocalypse. And we actually made kind of a mission that turned out to be very rare. It doesn't spawn very often, but we made a mission for players to go and get a copy of The Knowledge, mostly just because we wanted to, you know, advertise the book, because we had sort of we felt a kind of a debt of gratitude, basically, to the author, because we learned so much about post-apocalyptic technology from reading his book. And for that one, because we were making an explicit reference to a book that was written by someone, we did get permission. Our boss reached out to the author to make sure that it was okay with the author if we did that. And he said yes, and so we got a reference to his book in the game, and that was kind of fun. And so if it's that explicit and that direct, we do usually, you know, get permission. But it's kind of like for instance, like Weird Al Yankovic's songs. He doesn't actually, technically, I don't believe, need permission to do parodies of other songs, because the whole point of it is satire, and that's, I believe, protected by copyright law. But he gets permission anyway, you know, just to be sure that other people are on board with what he's doing. And he just doesn't want to like annoy people and like make people mad, because like, why? If you can do awesome stuff without making people mad, that's way better than doing awesome stuff while making people mad. So we tried to do that. Like, if we were actually gonna, you know, make explicit reference to something like that, we try to get permission. But it's as a, you know, it's because we're trying to be cool and not just because like we feel like legally obligated to. But most of the time, it's just cute little nods that just don't need that. It's just like, hey, we like your stuff is kind of all it's saying. And so that's just generally thought of as being kind of okay. I don't know, did I answer your question? I think, but we're generally, like, as far as just getting permission internally, like whether it would make sense in the world, I think we all try to develop a sense of, you know, what makes sense within our world. We do, you know, State of Decay 2, it's got kind of a serious tone, but characters in this world do kind of tackle the situation they're in with sort of wit, and they don't take themselves too seriously, and they're like they're kind of self-knowing about the stuff that they're doing in the apocalypse. And so there's enough room, I think, for us to sometimes sort of like wryly wink at the audience, and it's okay. It doesn't feel like it's out of place. But yeah, so I think, yeah, if somebody did like a reference of some kind that felt like it was just pure, like trying to be Weird Al, I guess, like if we were trying to do something where it's like, haha, this game is parody now, I think that would probably feel off tone, and I think that somebody at the team would probably be like, hey, maybe don't do that one. That particular Easter egg just feels like it's a little bit too much. But so far, no one's tried to do that. I don't think we've had to say no to something like that, because most people do kind of get it on the team, like what sort of the vibe of the game is. I think occasionally, I think we've had ideas for weapons and stuff that we've occasionally said no to, because one thing that we are explicitly is we are not Dead Rising. Dead Rising is all about being weird and over the top, and sort of making fun of the zombie apocalypse. And I think if we start feeling like Dead Rising, then we sort of tread into their territory. And if our game became indistinguishable from Dead Rising, we would be, oh shoot, what? We would be sort of cannibalizing each other's stuff. Like, why would somebody want to play both games if both games do the same thing? And so we don't want that to be the case. We would much rather be distinct from other games that are in our territory, and so that does sort of like constrain the kinds of comedy that we do.
Like you lost somebody. Do you need help? You do that for me? For us? Thank you.
Okay, so let me catch up with the chat, because I was just answering one question, and I want to make sure that I didn't miss a bunch of other stuff. Let's see here. So Konosuke is saying that we should also make references to Max Brooks because of the zombie survival guide and stuff, which was also something that that people on the team. I think it was before I joined the team. In fact, yeah, no, it had to, because they actually the original code name of State of Decay 1 was Class 3. And that was from Max Brooks's zombie survival guide or whatever. Like he classified different zombie invasions, and so they named State of Decay 1 Class 3. And so yeah, and it was the idea being that like we were playing on escalating and over time making bigger and bigger zombie games, which would go up in class as we went. Let's see here. So Kragan says, I can't see a cricket bat in a zombie game without thinking of Shaun of the Dead. And so, yeah, so we do have one in there as a bounty reward. It's a lot of the bounty rewards, particularly the ones in the Fearsome Footage pack. They will often feel like they're references to other things. Okay, so it looks like, so people are suggesting, apparently, that I should recruit Isaac and not Vic. Okay, so we'll see what the characters say. We'll talk a little bit about what choice I would make on my own versus what choice I end up making. Because I'm inclined to do what the audience is suggesting. But yeah, let's play through the mission and see. So I want to scroll back and just see if I missed the thing that Coalition wanted to say. Okay, here we go. He says, I've got a State of Decay 2 proposal, and I know it won't happen, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. The idea is to allow communities to equip a third legacy card if and only if they completed all the legacies in the difficulty first. So example, and it'll be a combination of the other two. So the sheriff combined with any other will give you +5 resources depending on the other. Okay, so basically you're saying like players should be able to sort of, the mix of legacy boons that they choose should have some additional effect that they should be able to earn. And just like, so we've had a lot of different thoughts over the years about like better ways that we could have implemented the legacy system to make it more interesting. Because right now the legacy system, it's just these 4 benefits. One of them is really powerful. The others are whatever. And it's sort of like, it feels like that system has a lot of potential, right? Like it could grow and get more interesting and more complex because it's even represented by cards. There's entire games that are just about mixing and matching cards. So like obviously that's the thing that's got a lot of potential that we not realized at all at this point. So we have thought of a lot of different ways that we could make that system more interesting, and that is an interesting suggestion. I think the reason I might not go that exact way is because it's very locked in. It's very like you choose these two, and there is a single other thing that happens as a result. It doesn't give the player as many opportunities to sort of like, I mean, yeah, they can come up with sort of these. How many how many combinations of 4 things are there? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 6 different. There would be 6 different combos that they could choose from. So that would expand the system significantly. I almost would just feel like, though, if we were going to expand that system, we would want to expand it more than that. Give the player more than just sort of 6 combos. But like have there be enough different potentially complementary combos that players could do more with that system. But I'm not promising anything because it's a thought that I've had in the back of my head for literal years, and we've just never managed to get it up above, up into the priority level where it would actually happen. Okay, so let's talk to Vic.
I haven't seen my husband Isaac in weeks. Can you help find him? We lost our daughter, and he took it really hard. I'm afraid he might have hurt himself. I just want Isaac to know that I forgive him. I'll tell you a few places to look. He's been avoiding me, but maybe you'll be able to get close.
All right, so he's telling me that Isaac might be in any of these places. I'm pretty sure I stuck Isaac over here, so we're just going to aim straight for this one. No, we're not. I want to... No. It took work to set up all of these places. I'm going to go to all of them. That's what I'm going to do. Let's go back and get my car. We're going to all of these places. Even though some of them, all it does is, I think, just tell you that it's the wrong place. I had to put work into making that happen, and so we're gonna do all of it. Yeah, so Coley said, I realized that the audio... Yeah, so I have... Because I'm often talking over State of Decay 2 in particular, I've got the audio set pretty low. And so I've just raised it a little bit. I hope that you can still hear the dialogue to some degree. But the thing is, I've specifically lowered the volume of the dialogue a lot so that characters saying random things don't interrupt me. And so... Yeah, so let me know if it becomes hard to sort of follow what's going on, if I've got the dialogue too low.
You in here or what?
So that line, you in here or what?
Time to bail on this place.
And time to bail on this place?
Here, but I don't see any signs of Isaac.
Thank you for the update.
Okay, so that last line that he said, that was unique.
I don't blame him for our daughter's death. We taught her together how to survive out here. It's not his fault she got sick.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt the dialogue, but yeah, so those lines where he says, like where he says, specifically refers to Isaac, and then Vic responds and gives you a little bit more context about the daughter. That was unique to Heartland, but the first 2 lines that Brock said, those were just generic lines. I just grabbed those, and then basically, so I'm trying to remember what exact process we went through to get this dialogue stuff written, because I'm trying to remember exactly what the order of operations was. Did I implement the mission first and just sort of use placeholder dialogue lines, and then Andy went through, found those lines, and then replaced them with real lines? I think it was something along those lines. I think it was something like that. It's been a while, though. I'm going to try to avoid
That fucker.
using my sword too much, because it is about to snap.
You in here or what? Time to bail on this place. I've searched this place, but no luck. I'll keep looking.
He didn't actually enter the place.
Appreciate this. When our daughter got sick, Isaac did everything he could to save her. It's not his fault that we ran out of time. I know that. But sometimes I'm not sure he does.
So the way that I planned this, like, I deliberately had the 2 locations that were not where Isaac was. I deliberately lined them up to be the closest ones. So even though the player could do them in any order, I thought that they would benefit from stopping in 2 places to get more context on the story before going to see Isaac. And so I set it up so that if you kept going to the nearest place. Okay, let's deal with these zombies. If you keep going to the nearest place, then sheesh. Then that's how you're going to get the most story. Nice. If I can catch a good screenshot of that, that might be my thumbnail. That explosion with Brock. I don't know if I will though, but I've got that other shot of him overexposed as backup. So if you're watching this later on YouTube, I wonder which thumbnail I made.
I just want to be alone right now.
Hey there, buddy. I'm just gonna invade your house.
What can I say to make you leave?
All right, so Vic sent me. He's worried about you.
Of course he's worried. He's always worried. I'm the one who got our daughter killed, and all he wants to do is talk about it. I can't live with his suffering anymore. Please, just tell him I'm dead. It'll be a mercy to both of us.
Okay, so here's the problem. Like, I really like Isaac. I think Isaac's a great character, and I definitely, you know, he's the pathologist. That seems like a really good addition to the team. I really don't like lying to someone like this. I think he's asking me to do something actually exceptionally cruel. Like, he's kind of being selfish here, saying like he wants to be free of his old life. He wants to get away. And so rather than supporting Vic and staying with Vic and helping Vic through all of this, you know, he's going to try to, you know, cut Vic loose and put Vic out on his own. And that's just like, to me, I don't like Isaac's choice here. I don't want to support it. I would much rather tell Vic the truth and and have Isaac be pissed at me than go and lie to him and like join him in this weird conspiracy. So yeah, so I think, you know, I'm gonna go with the audience's preference here, but also like this is not really what I would normally do. But you know, part of, you know, playing this game is me doing things I wouldn't normally do. It's like, yeah, so I think this is fine. Yeah, so Tin Cat says I'm not a huge fan of lying either. Yeah, this whole like, you know, I'm going to lie to spare you the pain, like framing it like, oh, I'm doing this selfless act by lying and simplifying my life and not getting into, you know, whatever with this person. Now, I can see, like, for instance, oh gosh, what? If Vic is sort of like an obnoxious, like toxic sort of person, and Isaac needs to be free of Vic in order to heal, like, because Vic is doing something wrong and is sort of incurable in that regard, then sure, I can see Isaac's approach making sense.
Found a good place for you to search.
But trying to frame it like this is just the right thing to do unequivocally is a little off for me. Coalition says, see it as saving Vic. That's what Isaac wants me to do. I just don't think Isaac is right about this. Oh, so Coalition says, actually, well, think about this. Whoever I recruit might be one of the people who died at Jurassic Junction between this and Homecoming. That's a good point. I mean, there's no way my character could know that. So I, as a player, might say that I'm saving Vic by letting him go off and have his own life separate from Jurassic Junction. But my character doesn't know that. That doesn't really play into the thing. So, okay, here we go. I kind of felt good about this. Delay the inevitable. I like being a little bit snide about the choices that the player's making. I guess we'll lie to Vic. and then let him get eaten by this juggernaut that's out
Didn't
here.
believe this could be true. Everything I loved, it's all gone. There's nothing left for me here. But maybe I can start fresh somewhere else. Thanks for your help. You're a good person.
I love that line, you're a good person. Like, basically, the more positive he is about the player's choice, the grosser the player should feel. That's why he says that, is because, like, if the player made that decision, I want the player to feel like crap for Vic thanking them so profusely. Like, being thanked by someone who you just lied to, just, I don't know, feels gross. And so I think he says it that way.
I'll be taking a trip, I think. Start over somewhere new.
I should let Vic talk.
All of you.
Well, that fucking sucks. I hope I did the right thing there.
Yep. So yeah, you can see the commentary, right? You can tell that I designed this mission because everything in it is framed around making you feel like crap if you did that. Because I would feel like crap if I did that. So you can definitely see, like, it's really hard to sort of separate the moral stance of the author from what's going on in there. So, of course, I didn't write these lines. Andy wrote these lines. But I think that, you know, there was a collaboration between the two of us about how this flowed.
These fucking infestations keep piling up. There's gonna be trouble.
And I think you can sort of see my voice in there a little bit, even though I didn't write these lines. Peroxica says, do you feel bad? I feel a little bit bad. Yeah, totally. So Kragan says, I typically like gaming because it gives me the ability to play out situations I wouldn't be in and do things I wouldn't do in those situations. But at the end of the day, the really morally wrong options are hard to do sometimes. Yeah, you know, and people like, you know, with Mass Effect and stuff, like they found out that basically like 80% or more of the choices people made were Paragon choices, not Renegade. Even though sometimes those choices were actually made to be pretty gray. When people perceived a change as being judged as good or bad, they choose the good, you know, and it's... In this case, we did try to make it so that there was a way you could justify making either choice. Even though I had a point of view on this, we still tried to make it so that if you really genuinely agreed with Isaac, you know, no character says, you just did a crappy thing. They raise questions, but they don't say you did it wrong. And you can feel good about the outcome, you know, and I think we left the door open enough that you can feel good about the outcome, even though I feel icky about one of these choices. But we also, like, when you make the other choice, we also try to make that feel bad too. We make Isaac get mad at you, you know, so that you can definitely feel like no matter what you do, there's a way you can view it as the wrong choice, which means also there's a way you can view it as the wrong choice, because the opposite choice also has negative consequences. So Lockenstein says that for Mass Effect they only chose one Renegade option because one particular person just needed to be punched. So I played the game 3 times. One is a Paragon, one is a Renegade, and one is an idiot who got everyone killed. Just because I wanted to see all of the consequences of all of those actions. Coalition says I still like Vic more.
I heard him over the radio.
Yeah.
I guess this means we're really moving.
Okay, so we can either remain allies with Isaac, so Isaac will stay out here but not join the team. There's no particular reason to do that. So let's recruit Isaac.
Sure? I think.
And escort him back to base.
There's nothing left for me here. I can leave right now.
Come back with me and check out my crib.
Did you really just say crib, Brock? What is wrong with you? Okay, we got just enough gas to get home, I think. We don't need to have this place marked anymore. I'm getting less and less certain that we have enough gas, actually. But we've got gas in the trunk. We'll be fine. So notice that Isaac's specialty is not called pathology. It's called plague pathology specifically. And that's because we wanted to have someone who was effectively a pathologist you could recognize as a pathologist. But all of the skills of these characters needed to be different from the skills in the core game. We wanted to make it really clear. These characters are Heartland characters. They're all about making the Jurassic Junction base work specifically. Just because we just want, I don't know,
As fast as we can go.
we just want it to be really clear that this is a new system that you're learning. That this is, that this base is not really analogous to the other bases. And you have to sort of figure everything else out from scratch. So even if something is technically, like we had chemistry, but Brock is outlaw chemistry. We have pathology, but Isaac is plague pathology. So that you can recognize this as being a distinct community system. Kragan says, I think some of the options in games are wrongly labeled good or bad. Oh, man, I did an entire video about this. Which maybe I should, link it at the end or something like that. Yeah, I think there's big problems with Karma says. What does Kragan say about it, though? He says, there choices in Star Wars The Old Republic where you let someone live and it's considered good, but he wants to be put out of his misery because what he did was... So really making him live with the consequences of his actions is... Yeah, basically the morality is complex. So in that particular case, I actually had the opposite reaction to the Herald storyline in, I think, Fallout 3. Was it Fallout 3? Where, this guy is asking to be killed. And if you kill him, that's considered the good choice. But I disagreed. I thought that was sort of the easy way out. And I thought that actually it was better, more morally right to try to support this person and help them have a better, fuller life rather than just killing them because they said they wanted to be killed. Like, I think that's often the easy way out for people who don't like watching someone with a difficult life. They think, oh, it would be so much better if they just died. That's a selfish choice in my mind in a lot of cases. So I didn't like that I was told that when I decided to have him live, that I had made an evil choice.
That we have.
But there, you were in a situation in a game where I don't know the details of that particular choice.
You won't regret saying yes.
You were in a situation where the opposite happened, and you felt like it was wrong. And so, I think in general, telling the player that choice is right, that choice is wrong, I think is a dangerous proposition. I think that you want to avoid doing that whenever you can, because when you tell them, oh, that was correct, you made the right choice, or that was wrong, you're challenging them to disagree with you, to say, that no, game, that was not the right choice, and screw you, and sort of drive them out of the moral universe of the game that you're creating. Now, I think that the best way to do it is to just give you consequences. Who likes you, who doesn't like you? What do you get out of the situation? What are the direct consequences of the choice that you made? And what effect does it have on other people? And then you can see those consequences and you can judge for yourself if you think that you made the right choice or not. And that still leaves all of the power to sort of set the moral tone of the game, or the moral world of the game, leaves that in the player's hands to discover on their own. And I think sometimes you can have a stronger positive influence on someone. If you think that your moral stance on something is right, and you want to have a positive influence on someone, showing them the consequences of their actions and having them see how it plays out and having them experience it themselves without preaching to them and saying this was good or this was evil. If you avoid saying this is good and this is evil, you keep them on your side, and then showing them the consequences, they might actually learn something and change their mind. More so than if you just said explicitly, this is good, this is bad, and then made them feel like you were explicitly telling them that they're wrong, which a lot of people don't react that well to. So, we can't build the trauma pharmacy because we don't have Vic, but we've got Isaac, and so we can build the plague annex. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to build the plague annex. Kragan says, I do like when games say so-and-so will remember your choice. Yeah, no, I agree, because even if that doesn't matter, because sometimes you throw them in and they're just fake. When you say that, it makes you think about the choice you made from the perspective of that person. And it makes you sort of do the thing that I think is the most helpful when people are trying to sort of develop their moral stance or their moral worldview, is to think about their own actions from other people's perspectives and reevaluate themselves outside of their own heads. And so I think that that's actually one of the best ways to get players to really thoughtfully consider their moral choices in a video game, is to tell them other characters are paying attention. And if you do that, you don't necessarily even have to tell them this person liked this or this person didn't like this. That becomes immaterial. They just know the person is watching, and they'll think through all of that stuff themselves. So Lacolisian says that apparently in Army of Two, spoilers for Army of Two if you care about that, that there's an option where a character seems like they're about to kidnap a girl, and you can help the girl or the character. In that game, they show you a small cutscene of the outcome. The girl is an assassin that goes on and kills a character's family if you save the girl. So that's interesting. The thing that is... So I don't know how it plays out in that game, and it could easily be that there are enough clues for you to sort of make a good choice or in that scenario. What it sounds like, though, is somebody's just trying to be, like, nihilistically going, haha, gotcha. You try to do good things and bad things just happen, so might as well never try to do good things. Oh, okay. Brock and a Tyrannosaurus. That is also a candidate for the thumbnail for this video. And if somebody's just playing gotcha where it's like you couldn't possibly know the outcome of your actions, but that you still sort of get punished for them, that can be pretty sketchy. There might be good reasons to do it if thematically that's kind of the point that you're making with your game. But it also just feels a little bit like, I don't know, it's so nihilistic. I might feel a little bad, like you're kind of saying like, nothing matters. You just kill anyone you want because, I don't know, maybe they're an assassin. That just feels a little bit like, don't try to do good in the world because you're just going to make things worse no matter what you do. I don't love that approach. So, Coniston says, the bridge at the north end of Marshall is weird. On the first game, it has no arches. Then on Heartland, it has arches. And then on Homecoming, it has no arches. Yeah, so I'm betting what that was somebody... maybe either repurposing some art or doing something, whatever the quickest way to make a bridge happen in that spot. Because Heartland, we had very little time to make this. Somebody was probably making that bridge in the quickest possible way in Heartland, but then when they went back with Homecoming, they were using a lot of reference from State of Decay 1, and I imagine somebody was like, oh, hey, we can get this closer to the original game, and decided to do that. I'm betting that's what it was. I don't know for sure, though. I was not deeply involved with the details of making these maps, and so I can't tell you what really happened. I'm imagining that might be what happened. All right. Well, we've accomplished something this episode, right? We've got, we cleared out the Wilkerson house. We got Isaac on our team. We've started to build up our base with Isaac's expertise. And so I think we should probably wrap this up. So let's end this episode with a subscribe button, links to other episodes. Now, if you're watching me live on Twitch, I do intend to continue playing Heartland. And so that episode is going to go here when it's ready.